All right, we ready to go? All right, do we have communications there in Las Vegas?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're ready to proceed.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to call to order the State of Nevada Board of State Prison Commissioners scheduled for today, Wednesday, March 26, 2025 at 10 a.m. And we'll kick it off with the roll call.
Governor
Danielle?
Lombardo,
Present.
Attorney General Ford,
Here.
Secretary of State Aguilar. Governor, we do have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll move on to agenda item 2, first opportunity for public comment. No vote or action may be taken upon a matter raised under this item of the agenda unless the matter is specifically posted on the agenda as an item upon which action may be taken. The Board of State of Prison Commissioners will impose a time limit of 3 minutes. The board may place reasonable restrictions on the time, place, and manner of public comments. The board, within its discretion, may allow for public comment on individual agenda items. Please stand, state your name, and come forward if you wish to make a public comment. Anybody there in Las Vegas?
Yes, sir. She's coming right now. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning. My name is Patricia Anderson. My comments today relate to agenda item number 5. For the record, we object to the unilateral adoption of regulations today by either this board or the department. All regulations that affect prisoners must be in conformance with the Administrative Procedures Act. The structural protections of separations of power cannot be waived regardless of the degree of assent or acquiescence by the legislature. No regulation may escape 233B protections. Regulations adopted without authorization by and through the Administrative Procedures Act constitute a violation of the Separation of Powers Clause, Nevada Constitution, Article 3, subsection 1. Accordingly, even when the legislature enacts a statute purporting to waive or to sanction this objectionable and unconstitutional action, the enactment of the statute does not constitute the intentional institutional waiver of separation of powers, because the legislature cannot waive or sanction a violation of separation of powers inherent in such unconstitutional delegation. Senate Bill 105 passed during the 2023 legislative session, which attempts to sanction or waive separation of powers in relation to Section 4 of the bill, which claims to authorize the department's existing fugitive regulations to remain in effect until new regulations are adopted in conformance with the Administrative Procedures Act. We hereby object to the unconstitutional attempt to sanction this board and the department's clear violation of constitutional dimension related to existing regulations adopted in clear violation of the Separation of Powers Clause, Nevada Article 3, subsection 1. Furthermore, once the department became authorized by 233B, the department must provide the form contemplated by 233B.100 to all persons for the purpose of adopting, rescinding, and revoking regulations. Thank you.
Thank you. No one else, Governor?
All right, do we have anybody here in Carson City wishing to speak during public comment? Yes. Come forward, sir. And please identify yourself.
My name is Larry Plumley.
Can you turn on your the mic there so we can record it?
Yes, sir. My name is Larry Plumley. I got a pardon in August, and I just wanted to come forward to this board and let them know that, unlike most people, I was prepared to leave prison. Prison Industries prepared me through numerous programs. And I wanted to thank Deputy Director Cahuenga, who's in charge of that program, and Mr. Ford and Mr. Lombardo. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anybody else? And I always ask this, anybody online or on the phone? Okay, we will close the first opportunity for public comment. Move on to agenda item number 3, acceptance and approval of the minutes from December 19, 2024. Any questions or concerns?
No, sir. Move approval.
All right, we have a motion for approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 4, director's comments and departmental updates. Director Zarenda.
Yeah, so the Department of Corrections today has a offender count of 10,532, which is actually going down from this time last month, which is good news. We are moving with a lot of infrastructure changes for the department, which is well overdue for many, many years. So a lot of the questions that we're getting over the phones or getting complaints about regular movement inside the facilities, whether it's disruptions of daily activities. A lot of it is coming from capital improvement projects, which are well needed, with changing doors, locks, recreational enclosures, shower enclosures, fence lines, all that, and it does disrupt our operations. However, it's necessary to move on so that we can improve things for the future. Regulations that are coming up for the future are, we have been doing better with sending them out to various organizations and groups that may have interest. So if there is an interest in a lot of them, when we do find out about it, it's not a big deal on our end to be able to share those with organizations and get some input before we put them out for a regulation. It's really all I have. I'm hoping our count continues to decrease. It helps us with being able to keep people and move offenders around more safely, and it does help with our continuing staffing increases that we're hoping to be better when the time comes. Currently, we have 62 correction officers in the academy right now down in Las Vegas area. We have another academy we'll be starting up in the Northern District, starting in about 2 weeks with 12 new officers going to Lovelock Correctional Center and 4 going to Northern Nevada Correctional Center. That's all I have for an update.
Any questions? Okay, that was an informational-only item, so we will move on to agenda number 5, Medical Division Update with Dr. Williams. Come forward, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Governor, sir?
Good, thank you.
Attorney General Ford, Director Zarenda, thank you for having me here this morning. In general, I am happy to report that we have made significant progress on staffing. We have filled the positions at the Northern Nevada Correctional Facility. We also have a physician placed at Ely. That is one of the hardest locations to staff in the state, so we're very pleased to have our medical services there. I wanted to update you on your questions from the last meeting. There were some concerns about storage and disposal, and I wanted to assure you that immediately after that, all of the expired supplies were removed from the shelves. There was a deficiency about a dental chair that had a tear in it, and that has been reupholstered thanks to our prison industry section. There were autoclaves that were in disrepair. Those have been attended to, and there is a log for each autoclave. All the expired supplies are removed. Also, there is a staff person assigned to every section where there are items being stored. So every month, there is a designated individual to go and check all of those areas. And then last but not least, with respect to medications, we have our medical directive that addresses storage and disposal. And we have a contract with a disposal entity. We have expanded that contract, and they are a redistribution pharmacy, Inmar. So now they actually come to the facility, and they will also audit and remove any medications that should be disposed of. Any that are not expired, they will take those back, and then they can be returned for a partial credit to the agency.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? General Ford? All right, one of the other questions in our last meeting, I asked you you talked about electronic health records, correct?
Yes, sir.
And there was a funding void or a gap or obstruction
Yes, sir.
associated with implementing that? Did that get eliminated or addressed?
It's gone in a couple of different directions, and currently, Director Zarenda and I are working with Governor's Finance Office and the Veterans Affairs and DHHS to explore what will be the best direction forward. And the first question is, will it be most practical to identify a single product that can service the needs of all of the state providers? Or will we be better off with a product that is tailored for the individual use of each of those entities?
And
We've started that conversation. I have looked into the issue on previous occasions. My finding is that it is most prudent to identify a product that is tailored for your use. In other words, a correctional health care program, as opposed to a general use product.
Okay. So in the last meeting, I asked if it was something I could help you with, and you said you were going to continue with the negotiation. So is that a discussion I need to have with the GFO?
Yes, sir, I would think so.
Okay. All right. So I guess the last question, Dr. Williams, would be, when we were dealing with expired and destruction of expired medicines,
Yes, sir.
that was a 17-year process, if I recall,
Yes, sir.
all right? And thank you for taking care of it in a matter of months.
You're quite welcome, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no other comments, we'll close Agenda 5, move to 6, administrative regulations, not subject to NRS 233B process for discussion and possible action. Director Zarenda.
So the first administrative regulation is the Administrative Regulation 494, which is transgender, intersex, and gender diverse offenders. What was added to this administrative regulation was definitions that were consistent with NCCHC standards, which is National Correctional Healthcare Association's standards. They were related to clinical definitions. The review process by a clinician was also added when an individual believes they are not the same sex from birth. Also, housing requests can be reviewed annually now, not in every 3 years, which was a change. Also, compliance to PREA regarding any gender was also added. PREA is the Prison Rape Elimination Act federal law that we have to abide by. Accommodations in housing units also can be made to accommodate any gender by a standard of having a review panel. The review committee will determine any accommodations, and they are multidisciplinary panels that consist of clinical, and custody staff. Healthcare and clinical services also are offered to any gender that we have in the Department of Corrections, which was also added. That's it. Anything under 494?
Any questions? Yes.
The next administrative regulation is 753, which is offender electronic devices, also known as tablets. The offender tablets are in the process of being distributed to every facility. However, there's a fiber optics issues that are being addressed and hopefully addressed soon so that they can fully be implemented. The administrative regulation identifies the different type of accounts that offenders can have for whether it's downloading games or e-messages. It also, the issuance of, what is the issuance of general tablet compared to a tablet that they could purchase on their own. Every offender is going to have their own tablet. Each tablet's going to be issued statewide, and then following statewide distribution will be done at the intake facilities. Each of the tablets are going to be the responsibility of those offenders themselves, and they can also purchase a higher grade tablet if they choose, that is either larger, better colors, and better movements for gaming activities. The offender will be responsible for their own tablet. If it breaks, it'll be the vendor that's on contract that is available statewide will determine whether or not it was a offender's reason for breaking, whether it was tampered with, or whether it was a manufacturing issue on the tablet. Manufacturing issues will be replaced by the vendor. However, any tablet that's tampered with, purposely broken, or misused that creates a problem, or a broken tablet, will be the offender's responsibility to replace on their own. The other part of the administrative regulations identifies about contents on the tablet, and that contents can be changed periodically to adjust to the agency, and mostly that's more about programs. Programs can be added, and programs, when we get better programs, better education, it can be concluded and adjusted on the tablets to meet the needs of the agency. The last thing is that it also identifies in this administrative regulations that any messaging will not be able to receive any attachments, photos, or audio with them e-messaging, and that e-messaging will be available to every offender. That's it.
So a couple comments on that, Director. First, Danielle, I think we have a administrative issue here. So on the agenda, the AR is identified as 735 and it's 753. So we could just put that in the record. It's actually AR 753. The other one is, you said it's going to be does the implementation of the tablets or the electronic means affect the number of hours offered of in-person visitation?
So, yes, there's going to be two ways that the tablets are going to be able to be utilized. Phone calls will be able to be utilized anytime the tablets are available, which will, when they're turned on for the communications, it'll be 8 in the morning to 11 at night with most facilities. So they can utilize phone calls from the tablets from inside their own cells anytime that is available. With video visiting is going to be offered in 2 different locations, both in the housing units, but it has to be from the tablets. They get docked into a station in order to use. They are only by appointment only, so we could make sure that every offender has the same availability as time frame to use it. But they will be offered any time during the day that the offenders are out of their cell, as long as there's appropriate time for be able to use those tablets. It will not substitute regular visiting. Regular visiting will not change. It only allows for additional allotments for visiting that can be by video.
Okay, good. Thanks for that clarification. Any other questions? General?
Just want to clarify, I don't think it's a problem, but I just want to check with my DAG down there to be certain that the typo on the agenda doesn't present a problem for us from an OML perspective.
Randall Gilmer for the record. I do not believe it will. I think we corrected the typo to indicate that it was a typo, and my understanding is that the applicable AR was attached to the meeting minutes so that the public had knowledge of what the actual AR that was being voted on was. And we will certainly confirm that, and if it needs to come back again at another agenda to vote yes again, we will. But I believe that it is appropriate under the law since the typo was corrected and the public had knowledge within the appropriate time frame of what the AR was.
Very well. Thanks so much. That's all I got, Governor.
Okay. All right, thank you, Director. We'll move on to agenda item number 7, second opportunity for public comment. This period of public comment is for any matter that is within the jurisdiction of this public body. No action may be taken upon a matter raised under public comment, period. And we will impose a 3-minute time limit. Do we have Anybody wishing to make public comment there in Las Vegas?
We do, sir.
Good morning again. My name is Patricia Adkison. My comments are concerned with the dubious culture within the department that is fast becoming systemic. First, and for the record, it is beyond embarrassment for our great state to be subject to an executive branch that does not seem to possess a working understanding of our state's constitution related to Nevada Article 3, or worse, has simply chosen to ignore Nevada's separation of powers clause when considering prison regulations. To further compound the public embarrassment, our state legislature seems to think they possess the power to sanction department violations by including Section 4 within Senate Bill 105 adopted during the 2023 legislative session. To be clear, our next CEO must demonstrate actual knowledge related to this issue and must possess actual leadership ability in order to tackle this problem. Leadership is where culture is developed and defined. It is with this in mind that it should come to no surprise that we have assistant wardens who choose to reject delivery of calendars because a calendar has more than 10 pages. It should also be no surprise that the state-sponsored industries wholly funded by the taxpayers has been hijacked to some personal entitlement for favored individuals for decades to the detriment of everyone else. My efforts for the better part of the last decade have been dedicated to providing our staff officials with notice related to structural problems we face together. Much of my work has been picked up and advanced in legislation. In fact, Senate Bill 105 is a product of our original efforts. I remain available to assist both the department and this board. Please consider taking us up on this offer. However, this board and the department would prefer my husband and I will work with the federal authorities on issues implicating federal funding involving state-sponsored industry and issues related to the IG's office regarding introduction of contraband and other matters concerning conduct of staff, which are now ripe for our disclosure. Lastly, I would like to mention that my husband, Michael Adkison, has been waiting for an IG recommendation for over a year now. The IG's office has failed to provide their recommendation as required by AR 740 within 45 days. Where now it's been over a year. I believe that this is an effort to condone the conduct of oppression under the color of authority committed by Garcia through Silver State Industries, preventing my husband from completing his education with the welding class and preventing him from participating in vocational rehabilitation. Our efforts related to our civic duty in participation in these meetings should never be a bias for retaliation against my husband. It appears that must now be considered. The warden expressed his concern that if my husband continues to pursue his civil rights, addressing the structural defects, that he will never be released from prison, leaving me to interpret this as a threat. I want this on the record because my husband goes up for parole next year. In consideration for the foregoing, we will follow up with the director's office. Thank you.
Is there anybody else there in Las Vegas?
No, Governor.
All right, is there anybody here in Carson City wishing to provide public comment? Come forward, ma'am.
Now you're ready to go.
Well, good morning. I want to thank you for letting me come up here and speak.
Please identify yourself, ma'am.
Annette Walker,
Annette Walker?
yes.
Thank you.
My son was
You
Christian
can
Walker.
pull that mic down to you if you want.
We're starting with the short jokes now.
There we go.
All right, thank you. My son was, well, first of all, I want to just, out of the context of the prison stuff, years ago, none of us was here when our forefathers made this constitution and rights for everybody, that everybody was to be the same, regardless of nations, colors, creeds. And of course, that's not being held, and we all have a higher power that we have to attend to one of these days. But my son was murdered in the prison on April 15th of 2022. No, it'll be 2 years next month. And it's been very hard for me, since my husband died of cancer the day after that. So if we could get April out of the way, it'd be good for me. But I was concerned that the gentleman that did this to my son have not had any consequences. To this day, almost 2 years later, they have not been punished for the crime. And as far as I'm concerned, they committed murder. Why aren't they being prosecuted? I mean, I know you're not lawyers, but,
He is.
oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. And your name, I'm not sure.
I'm the Attorney General, Aaron Forward. We won't be able to respond to you from public comment, but please do continue.
Okay, well, I just don't understand it, because my son was from Ely, an exemplary inmate, went to High Desert, did the same thing, went to Southern Desert, was on the inmate advisory board with Warden Brian Williams. I don't know what his position is today, but he was always in good character, always giving excellent advice to other inmates, a pastor at the church, and all of a sudden, he started getting little things with his head, and he said he was poisoned. Mom, I'm talking to you on the phone, but I feel like I'm somewhere else. And all this happened, and then one night, he started banging on the door for them to come and get him, and whoever was in charge, the lieutenant or whoever was on duty at 11 o'clock, told the guys to take him down to High Desert. So he wasn't happy about that, because High Desert, he knew he was going backwards, and he didn't want to go backwards. He wanted to go back to Southern Desert.
You've reached 3 minutes.
Okay, so that's about it, but I'm still wondering why these gentlemen have not been having any consequences for their actions.
Thank you for your time. Are all three of you going to speak? Okay, please identify yourself. There you go.
Good morning. My name is Amy Estrada. These are my children. Annalie Odell.
Sorry, ma'am, can you spell your last name?
Estrada, E-S-T.
Estrada?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
E-S-T-R-A-D-A.
Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Amy Estrada. These are my children, Annalie Odell and Robert Odell. Their father, Patrick Odell, was incarcerated at Three Lakes Conservation Camp at Indian Springs, only to serve a year sentence. He only had 2 weeks left. He was seeking medical attention, and instead of the COs helping him, they killed him. His death was ruled a homicide in the setting of law enforcement restraint. To our knowledge, no officers have been charged for his death. Please look into this. It happened December 28th of 2023. That's it.
Okay, thank you for your time. Anybody else here from Carson City wishing to speak? Good morning.
My name is Ashley Shedd, S-H-E-A-D. I had something prepared, but it didn't go with today, so I'm going to kind of just wing it here. We've seen what can happen with these two families. And personally, my loved one has been in ADSEG for over 4 years. He got moved from Ely to High Desert, and recently, High Desert is like a war zone. There are deaths every week, multiple. A couple weeks ago, like a month or so ago, he noticed in the single person enclosures outside that they were being tampered with. So he did the right thing. He told, and they said, we're going to put in a work order. And days went by, they were still putting people in it. So he told me, and I said, I'm telling Jody Hawking at Return Strong. And so she got in touch with people. It took 3 people going out there to find where it was being taken apart so someone could get out. And what happened? A CO went back and told people in the unit, you better watch out because cell such and such is snitching on you guys. So an already hostile environment became even more so. And we've seen what can happen. He's already been jumped when he went back to his unit before. I've also recently spoke to a mother whose son was on the phone with her, and a CO walked into the unit and started cussing them out and saying, you guys want to file grievances, which is what they're told to do. You want it fixed, file a grievance. He was cussing them out and calling them by name and saying, you want to do this? This is what's going to happen. We want them to do the right thing. And when they do, they're being punished. They're being hurt. They're being murdered. And we need to change that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi.
Hi.
Governor, Zaranda, Attorney General. My name is Frank Macias, MACIAS. I just want to quickly address this honorable board concerning many discrepancies going on in the Nevada Department of Corrections. First and foremost, I'd like to tip my hat to Officer Zaranda, to Director Zaranda. I've spent nearly 18 years in the Department of Corrections. I became a model inmate, did the very best I could to achieve my goals of rehabilitation. Prior from Zaranda arriving to this state, it was in dire straits. Just everything there was a subculture there within the officers that just, secrets are kept and things are being done that are not constitutional. Zaranda steps in, he starts to clean up the show very well. And this is from my personal experience dealing with this gentleman and the transformation I begin to watch. However, with that said, still to this very day, with the stories you just heard, there is still some atrocities going on within the officers. There's a subculture in there, and that needs to be addressed and fixed. It also, lays the groundwork for the retaliation and why certain inmates in there that are trying to achieve rehabilitation just aren't able to do so because of the staff, not all staff, but some staff are just limiting the abilities to do so. And when they start to push the issues that need to be pushed, things become violent. I will not get into specifics because you just heard some of the stories. But I do want you to know, Governor, if I wanted to vote for you, I couldn't do it. I was in there, I wanted to vote, they did not let me do it. So, there's a lot of things that still can be done. There are some good people that are incarcerated. Granted, there are some individuals who deserve to be there. I hate to say that, but it is what it is. With that said, the majority of the individuals in there do strive to become a better person. Within time, people change. People change for the better. Not all, but most. So I think that is all I wish to say to you, Governor Zaranda, Attorney General. Truly appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
Sorry. Anybody else wishing to speak? Anybody online? All right, we'll close the second opportunity for public comment, and we'll have to reopen the agenda, Danielle. We failed to vote on item number 6. Or, it's 6, right? 6. Well, because that's the old one. It's been adjusted. All right, so we'll reopen agenda item number 6, and we will have a public vote on AR 494 and AR 735. So I'll entertain a motion for approval.
For both.
Yes.
Move approval for both AR 494 and AR 753.
All right, we have a motion for approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We'll once again close agenda item number 6 and move for adjournment. So moved.
Second, or whatever. Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody.
So I'll try to get you some information on that Coyote Springs.
Okay, yeah.
It's just percolating so quick.